Hello, this is Matthew French from the French Family Farm. Welcome you back out here again today. I want to bring you all along as we move some pigs today. We've had some pigs that we've been kind of getting used to the electric fence. They've been trained in a small pen so that they could get used to knowing to stay away from the fence. And now we're to the point where we're ready to move them out kind of on the field. They've been out here in a lot that's fenced in, and our cattle usually graze. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna swing around. You can see some of our cattle over here to the side, and they usually graze in here a little bit, and we work them in here sometimes. So it's a fenced-in lot where we can keep an eye on these pigs as they get used to the fence. So they're right here behind me now. I don't know if you can really see them or not, but I know they're behind me in this lot, and you can see the ground's kind of worked up, and they have rooted around a little heavier than we planned on it, so we gotta get them moved today so that they can have fresh grass to work down. The grass in here is a little softer because a lot of times we feed hay in here, so it's easier for them to, it's really easy for them to work it up, and they'll root it up pretty quickly. But there's a lot of good grass in here, just due to the fact that we do feed our hay in here to our cattle. So it's a good place for them to root. Lots of stuff for them to get to and get up. So I'm gonna start working on this, and basically what I'm gonna do is they're to the point now where they're afraid of the fence, so they more than likely won't even cross the fence while I take it down. I don't usually do it this way, but where I'm just trying to get them used to moving around a little bit, I'm not gonna have an entire lane of fence just to move them down. I'll just set up a fresh paddock and tear it down and move it, and then move them into it. If they wander around, that's the benefit of having them in this area. They're not going to wander too far, and I can get them back in their electric fence pretty easily. As you can see, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's also a shelter we set up for them. That's just keep the sun off of them, give them a little shade in the daytime when it warms up, and when it rains, it gives them some shelter to get out from the rain if they want to. A lot of times I'll come down here and find them just wandering around out in the rain anyway. They don't seem to really mind it, but they do need a place where they can get away from it. So, like I said, I'm gonna start tearing this down, and as I tear it down, we'll kind of walk you through it. And I've moved over here to the other side of the fence because I wanted to show you quickly our electric charger. It's a portable charger. It allows us to set this up in the middle of basically nowhere on our farm if we need to. There's no power outlets. There's nothing to get power to them in any way, shape, or form. So we use this, and I'm gonna show this to you. This is our battery powered electric fence actuator. Basically what it does is it sets and it clicks off and on. So it'll kick a little juice to it and then kick off, then kick a little juice and then kick off. And that way, if they get into it, they don't get hung up by the electricity. It's just enough electricity just to warn them to stay back. It hurts. I'm not going to deny it hurts, but it's at least it's not something that's going to knock them on their knees or anything like that. They'll squeal a little bit, then they'll back away from it. But not only that, the benefit of using electric fence is if a predator, so say a coyote, comes along and decides he's interested in one of these little pigs, he's going to have to go through this electric fence. And there's several strands, and they're pretty low this way. They're only about 6 inches apart, sometimes less than that. And that way, the pigs stay in, and Lord willing, the predators stay out. And it doesn't always work, but a lot of times it will keep them out. And that's another benefit of the electric fence. So now that we have it turned off, and I've actually unhooked it from the fence, I've taken the lead wire off, we can start tearing down the paddock. We're over here at one of the corners, and this is the main corner. I try and set up my posts so that I can unhook the wire in one spot, and I don't have several different splice points or hook points. And I'm actually getting ready to change this a little bit to make it even easier. But for right now, this is what we do. I've got two types of wire on here, and I'm probably going to go to one type, but for right now I'm just trying different things out. But this is a solid aluminum wire here, and I use it, and I also use this poly wire, which is just a polymer rope basically, and it's got little tiny pieces of wire, aluminum wire in it. I don't know if I can get it in there where you can see it. I don't think it's going to focus on it, but there's little tiny pieces of wire that run through it. They're woven into it, and the reason I like it is I can tie little loops in it and hook it onto things. But basically what I do to start tearing down my paddock is I'll start taking this wire off, and that's why I like the poly. I can just unhook it like that, and I can just drop it. And see, these pigs are just minding their own business. not really paying too much attention to me, just wandering around, and hopefully they'll stay like that until I get done. And like I said, if they do wander off, it's not a real big deal. But we're going to just start tearing this down, taking all this wire loose, unhooking it from the posts, and getting it on the ground so we can get all this tore down and get it moved. We've got the new paddock up behind me. You can kind of see the fence off here over my left shoulder, and I've got the old one tore down. And I'm gonna swing around. Just one interesting thing here. I've got one pig that's wandering off, and that's it. The rest of them have decided to stay in. And there they are. And they'll come over near where this was, but they don't really want to push past it. And I got one who's way over there, and he is kind of wandering off. So I'm gonna go ahead and start moving them into this new area, and we'll get them set up in there and get them some feed and get their water situated. And I gotta get to move their shelter in. But that's basically what we'll do. We'll just move them just around, and that's all I've got to do. Hopefully they don't give me any trouble. Sometimes they don't like to cross where the fence was. They get kind of intimidated. They know where it was at, and they know something's different, but they can't quite put their finger on what it is, or their nose. Well, now we've got the fence up, and we've got the pigs in there. As you can see, they're in there enjoying the new grass and rooting around, and got them some grain in there, so they're ready to go. We're going to make sure that we get a fence on for them and keep them in there. That's the main thing. It doesn't do any good to have them in there if they won't stay. So back around here, I've already hooked up my fence. I've got the wire wrapped around some of it, and around in a couple of different places I've joined the wire together with pieces of wire, tying them all together. So now we've got our battery. I didn't have to move anything as far as the battery and the actuator, because I just moved them. I just took them from this side over here and moved them over on this side. And so now all we gotta do is just turn it back on, and you'll hear it clicking. And that clicking sound tells me it's working, and it's going to pop up and down on the juice. Every time you hear it kick on, it's kicking juice to it. So like I said, it doesn't keep a constant steady pressure on it, or flow of electricity, I should say. It kicks it off and on. So there, we've moved them, and they're ready to go. Thanks for coming by with us today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you'll leave some comments, like us on Facebook, like this video on YouTube for us, and we'll